Oh, that's what I'm talking about. It just shuts down. All right, let's talk cameras. Probably gonna be like a blind spot right here and a little tiring for my arm. So cinematic camera, probably not the choice to have. So we're gonna go through and talk about a whole bunch of different cameras for cars. All right, so probably the most common camera that you're gonna find that people wanna run on a vehicle is your standard action camera. This is an old GoPro Hero 6. Works just fine. GoPro makes a great camera, but there are some downsides to it. And if you're gonna be running, whether it's Uber, whether it's your own personal vehicle in a sense of or not, you just need that extra security, then what you're gonna want is a camera like this. And the reason why, this is designed for the purpose of being on the front windshield at all times. Unlike the GoPro or an action cameras have so many drawbacks. Battery life. So action cameras, you need to have a battery in them. You can run them with a USB plug down into it and then into your cigarette lighter. I've done that in the past whenever I was driving 18-wheelers. But what I always found is the plugs were always given out over duration of time, hitting those bumps and unplugging, re-plugging back in. There was always a problem to it. I had back then a Hero 3 GoPro, and I probably wiped that out in about 2 or 3 months. Other downside to it is, yes, there are batteries. The batteries do get hot in these action cameras, so they don't really last long, 15, 20, 30 minutes tops before the battery causes the camera to overheat or just shuts off in general. I tried doing this video before. Yeah, and again, I mean, it just did it again. Don't use an action camera. They're not reliable. They're cool. GoPro makes great cameras, but you have to constantly monitor it. Just shut down again. I don't know why. It could be heat. That's another thing. The sun is coming down straight onto it. Just don't use it. I recommend that. So they were swelling on some of the batteries that I had, and they're causing the camera just to shut off entirely. No warning, just shut off. The other big issue is the files are limited. So what you're going to get is a system that doesn't recycle through the files. So it's not going to do a continuous run. So once that file is done, basically the memory card reflashes and starts making new files for you. It's just, I don't even think on the newer GoPros, like the 12 and 13 even do that, or the 9s and 10s. So that's going to be a big factor when you want to have that security continuously going. You want basically a plug and play camera, and GoPros and other action cameras don't really provide that benefit. There are a lot of unfortunate downsides to it. Whereas when you have one of these, this actually is designed to be up in your windshield. And actually, this is a pretty good camera. Thinkware. I bought this, man, probably 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. But I don't have the plug to it anymore. It's really, really basic. Little SD card on the bottom, designed to continuously just overshoot on top of that SD file. Once it gets full, it starts making another video. I think this had a shock load sensor in it too, so if you hit it, or if someone hits your vehicle, it would start recording. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. It just shuts down. Probably a bad battery in the GoPro, and that's battery problems are common with cameras overall. Even that big Sony cinematic camera, I have never really had problems with that, but in some of my other smaller Sonys, batteries have always been a problem, dying really fast. Not too bad seeing this garage door of mine, but it has some really nice features to it, and it has an awesome camera sensor that's attached to it. It's actually a Sony camera. So there you go. All right. So Sony has a really good camera sensor, and they're just great cameras overall. Sony prides themselves on low light aspects. Now, granted, this camera that I have now, which is made by Apeman, with, you know, it's always going to be in the front windshield, so you're always going to have lights blasting forward at night. So you're always going to have a lot of light for the sensor on this thing. And it's a pretty big camera compared to what's here. Kind of see the difference. Okay, let me step in here. I was explaining the pixel sizes of this camera. I was thinking it was a 4K, but I was wrong. It's actually a 1520p at 30 frames a second. This is the actual footage, and the black you can see is a 4K format for this video that I'm making right now, but it's still not too bad. I mean, it's a car camera, so what do you expect? With this one, this is meant for outward facing only. There is no inboard facing one. I really don't like that. A lot of customers tell me thank you for not having that inboard facing one. It's kind of a 50-50 deal. If you really want to go with that one, great, but they're probably going to be in the range of like $300, let's say. This one was probably like 60 or 70 off of eBay, so it's nothing special, but you do need to have one just for that extra security of just in case you get into an accident. The inboard facing ones, when I was driving 18-wheelers, we had one where it would like face, supposed to only be the driver itself, and then you had the sleeper berth behind you. A lot of the drivers didn't like that. If you're driving like a company vehicle in that aspect, and you're driving either an 18-wheeler or a F-150 truck, let's say, like I've done in the past for companies, most of these companies have one up, like installed around the windshield area, or I'm sorry, the behind like the mirror, and it's all designed to be internal, so it turns on when it needs to turn on, mostly when you start up the truck. And all these cameras will run about 10 minutes after you get done shutting off a vehicle. And then on that one, it sends the data out to some company, either here in the US or overseas, to store it all. And then they kind of like review it, or if it gets flagged for hard braking, or if you unfortunately do get into a wreck. So that's the difference between like a high grade commercial one. These aren't really commercial. These are for personal use, but you still need a camera the entire time. You need something at least facing out. This one actually has one that faces back behind the vehicle too. I just don't have it set up. I don't really want to pull down the headliner and run a cable all the way to the back window. But for the most part, yeah, it works pretty good. SD card in on the side. And then of course, navigation buttons are here, and I can't really complain too much about it. It's a pretty decent little camera. You know, when it comes to the GoPro and the size, it's really close to the same, other than the thickness, I guess, or the width, compared to something like this little tube camera. You know, way totally different. But with this, it's nice because you can kind of hide it up behind the mirror, and it's not really in your way, and you're not really getting blocked by it. When you start running with, let's just not even talking about Uber itself, if you're just running your own vehicle and you're running with this, it's up in the windshield, plus I have my phone mount right here, and all this gets into the way, and it's kind of hard to see between all that. This screen does shut off on here, so you're not having that blinding effect really like probably like 20 seconds after it turns on. So that's really nice. I'm not sure if you can adjust it. I'm sure you could, but you're not having to worry about that blinding you, plus your phone screen blinding you, and then of course your entertainment navigation system trying to blind you all at once. So overall, I've never actually had a problem with this camera. I've had it for, I don't know, like 6 months now or so. And it's doing pretty good, although it is saying right now to format the SD card, so I'm gonna have to definitely do that here in a minute. But this video wasn't really about like showing you, going through every little option about it. The biggest takeaway from this video is you need to have at least one camera, I think, on every vehicle nowadays. So many people drive like crap, so that's the biggest. And it really doesn't matter what type of camera it is, as long as it's connected into a power supply, has the ability to redo files on the go. So once the SD card, even if it's a 16 gig SD card, that's fine. You just want to have it in there and recording the whole time. And I would probably say some type of shock impact. So what I mean by that is if you get hit, this will actually record for, 2 minutes before that hit, and it kind of documents it within its memory. Own little fan system inside of it, it keeps it cool. So that's nice whenever it's mounted up on the windshield, unlike the GoPro where it's just always collecting that heat and you're always going to have that problem. So other than that, Uber has it where, oh yeah, it just turned on. So the car's not even on right now, and it just turned on by plugging it in, and it'll probably go off here in a second. So, but Uber has it where your phone can record audio and video. I have mine set to audio, and when it does that, I've noticed that the heat really starts building up on your phone. So you got to let the phone cool down. It's going to burn it up. This 100% will burn it up. Yep, and it just shut off. So the other one too is like navigation. Don't really see this a whole lot. And I used to have a tablet when I was driving 18-wheelers. It was a huge screen, like 6-7 inch tablet for the time. That was 2014 or so, 2015, whatever it was. A huge tablet, and it did have a camera on that, and I used that to record. Same problem that I had with the GoPro was overheating. The plugs are breaking all the time on it, or on that one the plug finally did break, and it would just freeze up, and then you have this big screen blasting you in the face the whole time. So minimalistic cameras are what you need. You don't need something like this right here and freaking in your way. That's just too much for anyone to ask. So don't try to go over the top, and don't be putting in a movie camera inside of your vehicle. And not even a GoPro. Buy one of these from even a truck stop or a gas station would be best for you. All right, so that's all for now. Hopefully I don't have to redo this freaking video. Follow if you want to get more tips, and that's really about it. Later.